Bonjour and welcome into the cave. German emo is alive and well, and my guest band is definitely a part of it. With their new album, Is This the Low Point or the Moment After? They move through all the stages of getting better after hardship. It's angry, it's sad, it's vulnerable, but there's hope in it too. And at some point, you'll probably hear yourself in it. They're also the first band from mainland Europe to sign with Pure Nose Record. Hansol from Shoreline is here with me today. Hi.
Hey, Julia. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here. As we are talking, we are 10 days away from the release of your album. How are you feeling?
Is it only 10 days? That's crazy, actually. I'm feeling great. Now that you say, now that you mentioned it's only 10 days left, I'm a little stunned because I haven't, like, kept my eyes on the date as much. But yeah, you're right. It comes out like pretty soon. I'm excited. Like we've worked on this record so hard, and I know that every band says that about their newest album, but I really feel like this is like the best record we've ever written.
Hmm.
No, it's such a trope to say as a band, but I really think it is, and we're really proud of how it turned out. So I'm like very excited.
Yeah, it's actually very good. So, congratulations on it. And
Thank you.
you've already released a few songs, and I feel like the feedback from it has been really great.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like we've been really lucky lately because we got to play like cool shows. We got to tour with cool bands, and all their fans that we got introduced to were really nice to us as well. So yeah, we're really happy how like things are
Mhm.
developing right now.
Yeah, right. You just toured with Arm's Length, Ben Quad, and Koyo. So, very
Yeah,
sad emo lineup. I love it. And
hell
how
yeah.
was it?
Oh, it was amazing. I would say this is probably the coolest support tour we've ever done. And we've done so many support shows and like tours over the years. And I feel like this is the very first time where the the other bands that we're on tour with, but also the audience, are all kind of the same age. We're all like peers, if you will. It just felt like a scene event every night, and we were almost like not believing it that we were actually on the tour and part of it. And the other bands, especially like all the bands actually, like Koyo, we've toured with like 2025 before. We were very close to those guys, and Ben Quad and Arm's Length. All those people were like just an amazing travel party. And yeah, I feel like now I've been home for like a week now from that tour, and like being like having a little bit of distance from it now. I'm like really thankful that I got to be a part of that tour. I'm gonna remember it forever, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you had some pretty good time. And so it was mostly in the UK. So maybe, yeah, in the UK, people don't know Shoreline as much as people do in Germany.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It was real like I can tell you the shows are amazing, and like as I said, it's like everything was so cool and so nice, but I can tell you like you do not need to be in the UK for 2 weeks in February. Like weather-wise, it was kind of cold and wet and stuff, but
yeah.
if that's the only thing that I could complain about, I'm fine.
Hmm. And I've actually also seen you live before, and you were one of the last band I've seen before the whole COVID lockdown when you were
Oh, really?
playing.
Where have you seen us?
It was when you were supporting for Smile and Burn in Munich in Feuerwerk.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
So I
that
saw
was a
you.
cool show actually. Yeah,
It was, yeah.
yeah, I remember that show. That was 2020 actually.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the second last show we played before COVID. So yeah, interesting time.
Yeah, it's exactly this. I saw you live and then everything stopped, basically.
Yeah, yeah. We played one show after that. That was in Berlin, and those were like those were the last two shows.
Hmm.
I think that was like March 13th, March 14th, something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through the concept of the album? Because I really feel like there is a whole concept and storyline to it.
Well, this is the first time in our band's history when where we had a like a real concept before we started writing and recording. The record itself is called "Is This the Low Point or the Moment After?" and it tells the story of someone going through like a really hard time in their lives, but also very important detail. It's not about just the like experiencing the lows, but it's also recovering from it and healing from
Hmm.
like a really hard time. I think the first bits I had about the concept was the title and like this idea um, of the story. And when I introduced the idea to the other guys in the band, I was describing it as a sort of a canyon, if you will. There's a German word for that, and it's called Schlucht, and it means like I think I translated it in Google and it said like canyon, but I don't think it really matches. But it starts like at level zero, if you will, like just at like
Hmm.
ground zero, and then the songs and the lyrics and just the music just gets heavier and heavier, up to a turning point where things get lighter and a little more hopeful again, and it ends on a hopeful note.
Hmm.
Um, and funny enough, when we started writing for it, um, one of the first songs that we've written and that we finished was the very last song. I think that was like a real win in the whole recording and writing process because I feel like the last song is probably the hardest one. Like how do you write a song that is equally hopeful but also kind of makes you feel like you went through something?
Hmm.
And I think the having the last song as the first finished demo was very helpful in the in the whole process. And then we just went and filled in the spots. Like we knew when we were halfway through, we knew okay, we still need like a song in position 6 that is like still heavy but kind of is already maybe a little brighter than the ones before. And this is just very different from everything that we've done earlier because in the previous like for previous albums or recordings we took the best demos we had, we recorded them, and after everything was finished we tried to come up with an album
Hmm.
title and an idea where the songs would fit under. It was really challenging but also a lot of fun doing it that way.
The way you're telling it, it makes me think of it's kind of going through the other stages of grief,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, actually it's this is obviously not the first interview that like I'm doing about the record, but I've never thought about that. um I've never thought about that actually. That's really cool that you mentioned that. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Good take.
because grief can be show itself for different situations,
Yeah,
not when you
yeah,
lose someone, but and I think everyone can relate to that, and this is why also it's so interesting, and anyone can see themselves at one point in one song, especially in this
yeah,
album.
yeah. So I think I have to think about the stages of grief, and how that may like relate to the record and relate to the concept of the record. But I like the idea, and I like how like I like the idea of comparing that.
The title of the album made me think of a quote that is in The Office, but that would be the opposite of it.
Uh huh.
When they say, I don't have it exactly, but I wish I knew it was the good old days when we were living it instead of.
Ah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is Tumblr territory. Do you know what I mean? Like this is kind of like a Tumblr quote that would you would
Hmm.
see with like a sad picture.
Yeah.
And when I came up with the album title, I had a different quote in mind. That is like just a saying, and I think um, like one does say, "Is the worst yet to come?"
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like the album title is a more hopeful take on that because it's the worst yet to come. Kind of focuses on the negative, whereas is this the low point or the moment after? Kind of gives you a perspective that there's
Mm-hmm.
something after the worst, that
Yeah.
like things will get better. Yeah.
Yeah, here you're wondering at which stage of healing you are and that you know that there is something
Yeah.
good after and not the worst, that the worst is
Yeah.
behind you actually.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we will talk about a bit more about the album, but there is also something I wanted to point at because I think that's pretty big. So you are the first band from mainland Europe to release an album on Pure Noise Records. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that. And what
Thank
does
you.
that represent to you?
We've signed with that label 2023, and the first time we released music together was a year later, so in 24. And when we signed to the label, we were all in disbelief. Like again, very similar to the whole arm's length Banquet Koyo tour situation. As long as I can remember, and as a like huge music and like emo and punk fan myself, um, every time when I would search like cool bands and look up for YouTube videos of I don't know bands playing and like search for like live recordings, um, I always felt like those kinds of bands that were like on Pure Noise, for instance, like Story So Far, Knock Blues, Drug Church, Koyo, all those bands that I felt like are hugely impactful for not only the US and UK, but like worldwide emo scene. I couldn't believe that we would be like part of that label at label history. Not that we didn't feel like we were like deserving it in terms of our music not being cool enough or whatever, but it like in our world it was kind of unheard of
Mm-hmm.
being like getting signed to such a huge label because we are from Münster and all of us are like from just small villages across like the country and across Germany. Like the world of Pure Noise, the world of all those bands that I just mentioned just existed outside of our world because we have like a great scene in Germany. We have a great music scene. We have so many friends, so many other cool and amazing bands from Germany that are not in any sense like less talented than those bands, but it's still like a kind of a different world, right? Um, so yeah, like if anything, we feel very proud that we are allowed to represent our scene, like the German scene, and kind of also a little bit the European scene there. Um, and yeah, we just grew to be, I guess, yeah, proud is probably the right word for it.
Mm-hmm. So it feels like all of those things that you were hoping for but never thought you would actually get them, you're kind of
Yeah,
getting them little by little.
I remember when we started the band, there was a label from Germany that was called No Panic Records, and No Panic had like not a big label at all, like probably just more on a DIY level. But all of our friends, whether that's like you probably never heard of any of those bands, but there were like Flatline Walkers, Casually Dressed, maybe the Dead Notes is a band that you know of.
Mm-hmm.
All those bands were on that label, and when we started the band, I was dreaming about that label. Like when we like played the first kind of shows and started rehearsing, I thought, oh, it would be super cool if we were on No Panic Records. And we've never like I've never even dreamed of being on Pure Noise because I just it was too far away.
Mm-hmm. What would be one of your next dreams for Shoreline?
Things have changed a little bit. So I would say, and I don't want to sound too dramatic here, but I feel like everything that we are able to achieve or to experience with this band from this point on is really just a plus. Like we've played so many cool shows. We've played shows where like quote unquote headliners, like shows where we would be like where it would be like our tour.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where I've seen kids go crazy about our songs and like just shout the lyrics back at us, and meeting people who tell us how much our music means to them, and all everything in a sized room that is like maybe 200 to 300 cap rooms, or maybe like when we play Münster it's a little bigger, but like that's kind of the world that we live in. And I feel like to a certain degree that's kind of the rooms where we belong. I may be a dreamer, but I'm not stupid. Like I don't think Shoreline will be like a stadium rock kind of band, and I don't think we should be. Um, but
Do
yeah,
you
like
even want to be one?
I don't know. I don't want I like. Of course, if someone just threw the opportunity to me and said, "Okay, you gotta be Green Day," of course I'm gonna say yes, just to experience the ride. But this is our 10th year with this band, and
Mhm.
after 10 years, I feel like I've understood what kind of band we are and where we belong. I don't want to make it sound as if we are not ambitious. Like we're gonna play probably like the coolest and nicest and biggest shows of our lives on the next album tour. But I don't expect things to grow forever. Like if
Mhm.
we someone came to me and said, tomorrow your band is over, I would be incredibly sad and I would be like very shocked and sad. But after all, like like we had some great times with this band already. So to answer your question, finally, like everything that happens from now on, we don't take anything for granted, and we are just really grateful that we get to do the stuff that we get to do right now.
So you're currently in the good old days and you realize it,
Yeah,
kind of.
probably. I hope so. Yeah. Like especially on the arm's length tour. The last show was in Hamburg, and I do remember when everyone said goodbye, and like like band after band was leaving. I felt like this is kind of the situation, the kind of tour that I've always wanted to be a part of. And I do remember feeling that way like with past tours that we've done as a headliner. So yeah, like I said, I don't want to make it sound as if we are breaking up, because that's not the case at all. All I'm trying to say is like I'm really happy how it
Yeah.
is, and like it's cool how it is right now.
Yeah, it's also good to be grateful for what you have.
Yeah,
We're gonna start talking about the first line you wanted to talk about, which is from your song Good Times, and the line
yeah,
being, I would rather be obsessed with something that's keeping me awake but numb the ache than to be another empty shaded skin that wants to feel but never feels.
yeah.
So why did you
Uh,
choose this line?
I chose it because I did not write it.
Mhm.
Um, Julius, our guitar player, who's writing he's writing a bunch of songs. I'd say like 50-50. I'm bringing like half of the songs to the table, and he's bringing the other half. And when he sent me the demo for this one, I do remember that those lyrics, especially, like really hit home, and really, I was like stunned how well he was able to express something that I've felt for a long time but could not express myself.
Mhm.
And it's something that Julius and I were talking about previously, that we both felt like in the band context of playing shows, but also like privately and just overall emotions, that we were feeling a little numb. I just spent a lot of time telling you how grateful and how cool everything is and how cool everything felt playing in this band in the last 2 or 3 years. But the reality behind that is that that's probably like 10% of the shows that we play, and the other 90% is um, just kind of slipping through. Because most of the times I don't feel that much when we play. Like I'm having fun, at best.
Mhm.
Like best case scenario, I'm having fun. But most times I don't like. If this is like the 30th show in a row that you play, you don't get excited as much as the first time. And if you
Mhm.
play the 10th show that goes really well and people are really excited to see you, not to sound ungrateful, but it kind of does not hit as hard as the first time. And it's kind of shocking how fast you get used to that stuff. And that's kind of what we were discussing a lot. So when we play a show and it goes really well, we would all like when we were off stage, we were all just um, ask each other, "How was it for you? Were you feeling it today?" And Julius and I were always like, we are the two guys out of four that would like always say, I kind of didn't feel it that much today, or as much. We're kind of struggling with that, honestly, because I feel like, to come back to your quote from The Office, like I want to feel that these are the good times. I want to
Mm-hmm.
have fun. I want to like be grateful and be like present and be in the moment, but it does not feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we wanted to write a song about it, but it was not like Julius and I were sitting together and like thinking about how do we write a song about this. He just came up with it and he just sent the demo to me, and I think that's the reason why I love those lyrics so much.
What you're feeling is that maybe there is less of an adrenaline shot coming or whatever when you're playing shows now. And
Yeah.
how does it feel at that moment? Well, you said you don't feel much, but is it like you're dissociating, or is it something like that?
You could describe it that way. I mean, sometimes it's it sounds funny, but I don't want to say we play like a lot, but I guess we do play a lot of shows, and um, some of these songs I don't have like I just go on autopilot and we
Mm-hmm.
start playing. It's all muscle memory. Even singing, it's all muscle memory, and to a point where I start thinking about way different stuff while we were playing. Like I could play a song, play guitar, and sing, and in my head I'm thinking about my next meal, or I'm thinking about, oh, if we finish, I might go to that Thai spot across the street, and I wonder if they have like fried tofu or whatever. And to a degree, I think that's funny. Um, but that's also where I start to overthink and to fuck up. And I actually want to like I don't want that. I want like if we're playing songs, because all the songs that we play mean something to me. I wish I
Mm-hmm.
could like be more focused, or like feel it a little more. Like that's one side, but on the other hand, like all the songs that we've written so far kind of touch on heavy topics and kind of touch on like emotional stuff. And I also realize I cannot go to those places every night with
Mm-hmm.
every song. Like I can't be as emotional at the way I was when I've written the song. I understand where it comes from, but I wish it would be like a little different.
Yeah, as you were talking, that's what I was thinking. I don't know anything about psychology or anything, but I was thinking maybe it's kind of your brain also protecting you and just not wanting to go through it
Yeah,
over and over again.
yeah. It was 2023. I remember in the summer it was really bad, where I like over the course of a couple of shows, I would start forgetting lyrics to songs
Mm-hmm.
that we've played for 5 or 6 years in a row, and songs that I've written myself, like lyrics that I've come up myself. And that problem just occurs to this day, where when I'm not focused enough, I just start forgetting lyrics, and I to a point where I get really afraid of it. um I mean, when I'm playing with the whole band and it's like a loud part, I could kind of mumble and people would probably not notice, but there's parts where you could very much tell if I'm mumbling or if I'm actually singing the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened like a couple times where I would like sing the wrong lyric or just forget everything at all. And um, I, that makes me really kind of nervous and almost a little anxious. And I do remember when I feel like things are kind of slipping out of my hand, and I have like I'm starting to think about that tofu's like Thai spot a little too much. I kind of go back to where I was in my life when I was writing the song that I was like that I'm singing right now. Um, so yeah, it's kind of like it's very detailed and kind of difficult to describe, I guess.
Does it happen more when you're in a bad headspace and so your head has a million things happening, or doesn't really depend on it?
Yeah, yeah. I think it also is very highly dependent on how the show goes. If it's,
Hmm.
I mean, if it's a, I don't want to say bad show because we haven't played a really bad show in years. But if it's like a packed show, people are there for us, and like the vibes are right, I'm very easily to be ignited. Like I can like get myself into it if the vibe is right. But like if I have to make up for the vibe, and if someone like if we're playing early and there's not too many people around and stuff, like I get caught up a little easier.
Hmm. I can also understand how it can be on how you're feeling, because it's like you feel like you're not feeling in love as much with your passion as you used to be, like falling
Yeah.
out of love with the passion, we might say.
In those moments where where I either forget lyrics or like I'm way out of focus, I start overthinking like what am I doing here? Like why am I playing in front of like 50 people on a
Hmm.
like 1,000 cap stage and no one's really caring or listening? Like why am I here? Why haven't haven't I chosen like different paths in my life? But all of that
Hmm.
is like very temporary and kind of like goes away really quickly whenever I start chatting with like the other guys in the band.
But yeah, so it's a really a vicious circle, because I guess the more you think about this, the more you can forget your lyrics,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
more you go deep.
It is. It is.
I don't know this feeling of, because I've never been on stage, but I've been in the crowd, and it happened to me sometimes that I don't remember a song just finished, and I actually don't remember anything of what happened, because
Wow. Okay.
I was in my head or something, and I know I was singing, but it's the same as you. I was just on autopilot,
Yeah.
and I just realized after that I was thinking about something else, and I actually, yeah,
I guess it just happens. Yeah.
just dissociating sometimes, and you don't even realizing it when you do it.
I wonder, like, if other. I need to talk like to other people in bands that I know. I haven't talked as much with like other like singers or like just other bands if that happens to them. But
Oh,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it does.
I'm pretty sure like yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
And the more you do it, and even, I guess, even more for those who it's like their full time job, that in the end it's a job, and you
Yeah.
cannot be 100% in
Yeah.
your job.
Yeah. True.
This is why also you see some people in bands going into drugs, into alcohol, because they want to feel
Yeah.
something, the feeling that they
Yeah,
don't feel again.
I can actually completely understand that. Like, I don't do any kind of drugs, and I'm the only guy in the band who's straight edge. But none of us drink heavily on tour. Like, at like maybe someone drinks a beer or two, and that's kind
Hmm.
of like the maximum what happens. And really thankful for that. And I do think that's one of the reasons why we work so well as a unit and how we survived 10 years as a band, because I do start to see like people that we came up with, like other bands that we're friends with, or just in general, like other peers in our scene, um, that are more interested in drug use. I might call
Hmm.
it that way. um, become like having real life problems um,
Hmm.
now because they've taken drugs for so many years. And I like playing in a band, being on tour. I can totally understand why someone would take drugs just to feel it a little more or just to make time go by a little faster. So yeah, I could like if there's one advice that I could give like younger Hansol is being straight edge in a band um in the punk world is definitely a good decision.
Definitely good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna transition to the second line you wanted to talk about, which is from your song Synchronize, and the line being, "We are two clocks synchronized to the minute, but one's faster than the other, so when we meet again, we won't understand."
Yeah.
Why did you choose this line?
I remember when I wrote that line. This is like I've written the song, unlike the other one. But oh, when I wrote the song, it was the first demo I had that I liked after having kind of a writer's block. I was in a phase where I would try to write like a couple songs, and I had maybe like 5 or 6 demos written. So it's not really a writer's block, but all of those songs and demos, I was kind of not feeling it, and I was worried. And I have this problem with every record that we do. I was kind of worried that I've written every song that I could potentially write and have already recorded and released it, and I have nothing left in me. And after the string of very bad demos, this is the first one where I felt like this was kind of special and that I could put like a lot of meaning behind the lyrics and like I don't know, just the song in general. I do remember so fondly because I was listening to the record when I was driving my car to the demo when I was like driving my car through a forest, so very um, picturesque,
Hmm.
very romantic. Um, but yeah, it just stuck with me, and it ended up like on the record. And what I also really like about the song, even though it's not a single, is that it is so heavily influenced by a band called Fjord. Do you
Hmm.
know about that band? Yeah, it's also like a very influential German.
Yeah,
Uh,
the the episode I released today is with Fjord.
cool, hell yeah, I love that band so much.
Yeah, I love
And
them.
I don't even like because we've referenced Fjord in a couple interviews with like US and UK magazines, and all those magazines of course,
They don't know
not
them.
of course, but they are not familiar with the band
Hmm.
because they are mainly like German speaking. And I was wondering like how would I describe the band, like because it's sonically I would say it's kind of post-hardcore or hardcore or like hardcore adjacent, but I don't feel like they would be not okay, but kind of see
Hmm.
themselves that way. I don't like. I've never seen Fjord claiming to be hardcore. I think they're just a very unique kind of sound and band. But
Definitely, yeah.
we've talked so much like about pure noise, about like all those emo bands, but that song in particular was us having and trying to like incorporate German influences and influences of our own scene, of our own bands that we really enjoyed from Germany. Um, and it's like just a heavy song and just very. If I wouldn't even mention Fjord, I wouldn't know if people would get the reference. But yeah, it's just a it's a honorable mention of that band for us.
Very good influence.
Yeah,
And so this line is it referencing to a specific time of your life?
yeah, it is. Um, how do I put this? Well, we played a show in Freiburg a couple years ago. That's by now maybe 4 years ago, and I've written a song about a person in my life that kind of I lost touch with. Like we haven't had a bad fight or haven't had like a major incident that kind of led us drifting apart. It just happened
Hmm.
over time. And it's not less hurtful because of that, because I feel like our friendship or the relationship I had with the person was like really special. But circumstances are that we're not that close anymore. I was wondering how can I describe that in a lyric without making it sound as if there's like bad blood. It's more like it's a time and life kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Do you happen to know what the how do I say that in English? Well, when there's two people born,
Mm-hmm.
twins. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, there's a twin paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that before? I think
No,
this is
never.
just very entry level physics, right? This is kind of like the interesting way how your physics teacher wants to teach you Albert Einstein. So there's
Mm-hmm.
two people, twins. One is leaving the Earth on a spaceship that is traveling in like with the speed of light, and when
Mm-hmm.
they return from that journey, one is older than the other um, because of relativity, whatever. I can't explain it
Mm-hmm.
properly. Um, and I do remember how my physics teacher told me about that, and that's why I like how I've written that lyric.
Is it like kind of? I haven't seen that movie, but is it like Interstellar? Is it?
I think it touches on the same topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, but yeah, at some point you were kind of on the same line, let's say, and you just
yeah,
moved at different pace.
yeah, yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
said it more beautifully than I did, but yeah,
And I think what you're saying can be applied to anyone. Like anyone can relate to it. We've all fallen out of touch with a friend, and sometimes it can be harder than a breakup, a romantic breakup, because a romantic breakup, you're saying it's done, you know it,
yeah,
and we barely have roman friendship breakups.
yeah,
I cannot remember any I had,
yeah.
and so you
I
just
mean,
lose touch with the
there
person.
must be something like really bad happening between like you that you have
Yeah.
actually friendship breakup, right? Yeah,
Hmm. Or some people that are very good at expressing their feelings, at putting boundaries, and they are like, "This is not working for me anymore." Bye, but I'm not here
yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, then you're always wondering, or I guess you can always wonder, what if, and what if we met now? What would happen?
Yeah,
And it's sad to see a person becoming a stranger little by little.
yeah, yeah.
Now, when you think about this line when you wrote it, is it more like, is it more expressing regret, acceptance, anything else?
Mm, good question. I would say it's more leaning into acceptance. It's describing the problem and understanding that just people. I like the way how you said it before, just living in at a different pace,
Hmm.
um, and actually understanding that, and like understanding that this is the mechanism behind drifting apart is like very important and also not as easy quite often. Most times I don't understand why things are not working out. I don't understand why I don't get along with other people as well as I used
Hmm.
to be like before. I think it's very rare for me that I really see like have clear true vision about okay, this is not working because of problem XYZ.
Hmm.
And this is the reason why this is not like why this is not working. But yeah, I think synchronize is more kind of describing the problem, describing and accepting the problem.
And so it brings us back to the album going through the other stages of grief, because this song is towards the end of the album,
Yeah,
and acceptance is one of the last stages, if not the last stage. As I said, everyone can relate to a song. Would you feel comfortable sharing right now the way you are feeling? Is there one song that you really relate to at this moment?
I would say it's just like the latest single. It's called Paradox Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the heavier ones on the record. It's definitely around the low point. It's like really hardcore influenced. It has the whole song is just probably just two breakdowns, to be honest. I still am really close to the lyrics that I've written for that song. And yeah, when we released it, I was kind of like, this is the first time in a long time where I felt a little nervous about releasing a song because at this point, there's so many people around me in my life that I am either like distant friends with or coworkers or just family and friends that know about the band that will check out new music when it's coming out. And um, like this is such a personal and intimate topic that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not ready to talk about with my coworkers.
Yeah,
um,
I can
so
understand.
putting
Yeah.
kind of putting that out there, I mean, I cannot really complain because I'm playing in a band. Like I have some sort of like, hey, look at me. Hey, listen to the songs I'm writing because I kind of release them publicly. But yeah, I don't want to talk about that song with everyone in my like in my life.
Yeah, understandable. And I can completely understand that you do those things, you have all those feelings, and when you release it to strangers, they can only tell you, "Oh, I relate to it," and they're not gonna tell
Yeah,
you, "I didn't know you were going through it." Want to talk a
yeah,
bit more about it? Not
yeah.
really.
I mean, like I would be way more comfortable talking about the song with a stranger than with someone that I kind of know of,
Mm-hmm.
like know kind of knows me or know them. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of us are like this, and it's a funny feeling, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
yeah. You don't like you feel less judged. I think.
Mm-hmm. This song, it yeah, it does actually goes very deep, and it's very vulnerable. Is it also why it's so short? Because you didn't want to dive too much into
Nah,
it?
that's just by accident. Like
Mm-hmm.
we like overall the record is 10 songs long and it's under 30 minutes, and I love that. I love records that are not even half an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know. We had a couple songs in our band's career that are under 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it just felt right. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
fast, short, and heavy. So yeah, just that's coincidence.
Yeah, I completely get that. One of my favorite record is from Have Heart, and I forgot the name, with the screaming kid on
Yes,
the.
it's songs to scream at the sun.
Yes, exactly, this
Is
one.
it is that the title of the record? I have to look
Something
it
like
up as
that.
well. Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's like 20 minutes.
yeah. Hell yeah.
And this song, yeah, is very vulnerable, and I asked this question before for another line, but is it also at a specific point of your life, or is it like an overall feeling?
Well, it's an overall feeling because right now I do kind of feel overwhelmed a little bit because my life has playing in this band um has given me like so many happy moments, like cool shows and like especially friendships that I value. That I've only like people that I only got to meet through playing in this band. So I'm like, as I said, I'm really grateful for everything. But also playing in this band makes different parts of my life extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm still working full time. Like none of us earn any kind of money through the band. Like we all leave it in there, which is fine. Like we don't like I don't believe that we can make a living off this band right now. And we really shouldn't because it would like make things less fun. um, but yeah, like there's a lot of pressure around me. um, that it gets intensified through playing 50 shows in a row, kind of. And yeah, it makes a lot of decisions and a lot of like personal relationships I have outside the band really difficult right now. Um, and also like the whole topic about like feeling a little numb and like putting so much work and time into this band and then not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
That's also kind of a hard like a bitter pill to swallow. But
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, it's it's in a state where I think it's a good sign um, that we've talked about it on this record because it leads to us like in the band and like close friends of mine um, to talk about it more. And I realized talking about stuff like that, whether that's like mental health or if you're feeling numb or if you're feeling sad or like depressed or whatever it is, um, if you're able to have a conversation about it, almost every time I feel like at least I do not feel worse afterwards. Most
Mm-hmm.
of the times I feel better. Yeah.
You're keeping hope still in all of this. But this is completely understandable. You have your full time job, you have this band who's almost like a full time job too.
It has become a company almost. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have to. One of us is an accountant for the band. Actually, I'm a fucking manager for this band. And I like, even though I kind of like this, I kind of like working for the band. The whole music industry part of it is all it can be a little bit like not frustrating, but very exhausting.
Mm-hmm. And have you found ways to make it feel lighter, even though the workload is still bigger?
The music industry part of the band and kind of what feels like work is completely fine because we have a great team. Like our whole team is really amazing and like I couldn't wish for a better one actually. So even though like it feels a lot and it like it's very time consuming, it's never frustrating in a way where I would think I wish I could talk to someone else or I
Mm-hmm.
wish we had a better partner here and there. Um, that's not it. It's just the time consuming aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's funny. I hear you say a lot. I'm not complaining. I'm not ungrateful, but you're also allowed to feel all of
Yeah,
this.
sure,
And it
sure,
sounds,
yeah,
for me, it sounds a lot like almost burnout. And you can be
yeah,
burnt out from something you love. And I think you're more likely to be burnt out from something you love.
yeah. That's probably true. A big part of playing in a band is, especially when you are a smaller band, is accepting that other people will make a timeline for you. And I'm not talking about releases, I'm talking about tour schedules. If someone hits you up and asks you, do you want to play this 2 week long tour as a support? Um, you have to kind of make room for it. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just a small example, but like a lot of stuff is me figuring out how can I get off work or like how can I make this work to make room for the band and vice versa. So yeah, it's um but I kind of got used to it. So I make it sound a little worse than it is.
But yeah, no wonder that you have so many things to talk about and that sometimes you just dissociate
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
Well, Hansol, thank you very much for this conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And
likewise. Thank you for taking the time.
and so when the episode will be out, your new album will be released. And so now what's next for Shoreline?
Then we're gonna play a couple really cool festivals throughout like spring and summer. We're playing like mainstream, open flare festivals that are
Mm-hmm.
huge to us, and we're going on tour in fall and late summer in Germany, the UK, and Europe. And yeah, I think we just continue doing what we do, kind of play a lot of like play a lot of shows and like write music and figure out how we can um, be in the moment for that stuff.
That's everything that I wish for you here.
Thank you.
And once again, congratulations on this album.
Thank you so much.
For everyone listening, go listen to Shoreline's album Is This the Low Point or the Moment After, everywhere you listen to your music. You can also follow them on Instagram to be aware of all of their shows or released. You can also follow me on Instagram at Into the Cave Pod. You can like, subscribe, comment, anything that helps. I will talk to you again next week with a new guest, and meanwhile, be kind to yourself. Bye.